The UN cybercrime negotiations aim to establish a legally binding framework for cyberspace that would be applicable globally. The Ad Hoc Committee tasked with elaborating the document originated from a Russian Federation's proposal, and this was despite the skepticism of some states as to whether such a treaty is even necessary. It was also criticized by civil society and other stakeholders who expressed a number of concerns about the protection of human rights under the future framework. If the convention is indeed adopted, it will coexist with several other already existing instruments. There is prominently the 2001 Council of Europe's Budapest Convention, which already covers cybercrime, but also the 2014 African Union's Malabo Convention on cybersecurity and personal data protection. Countries therefore need to consider harmonization with existing provisions to avoid stifling global anti-cybercrime efforts. And this could happen if the treaty produces conflicting demands, or if the treaty puts excessive burdens on state agencies or service providers who are then unable to meet those demands. As a criminal justice tool elaborated under the UNODC mandate, the treaty's provisions will need to be in line with those in UNTOC and UNCAC, the UN Convention Against the Transnational Organized Crime, and the UN Convention Against Corruption, which reflect already existing consensus there is and is relevant to the treaty. The timeline for the treaty is very, very ambitious. It foresees conducting the substantive negotiations in less than 2 years, and the process is therefore very fast-paced. Now, after the second reading concluded in Vienna, it took place over 4 weeks. It was divided in two, first half in January and second half now in April. The Secretariat will have the chair to prepare a draft text for the convention to be circulated around mid-June or late June in advance of the 6th session scheduled for August. While many countries showed a willingness to conclude the negotiations by the deadline, major disagreements remain. And this is dependent on the next step, the CO draft, whether we see any agreements emerging or even a consensus on some provisions. The committee's work will be concluded once it presents a draft convention to the UN General Assembly, and this is currently foreseen at its 78th session that opens in September 2024. While reaching consensus would have the convention's adoption, states can take decisions to a vote, but this will make the ratification and following implementation of the treaty way more difficult.